wants to know the history of this shop, so allow me to explain.
His name hangs over the door. His many talents can be heard just inside it. Jeffrey Seitz has been playing music since he was 8.
Started out playing the drums. I also played piano and guitar.
But his passion is plucked by an instrument that's been around since the 1500s.
The first known kind of existing violin was made in around 1530 by a guy named Andrea Amati.
Jeff started carving out his niche here on Loughborough in 1987.
We build violins, violas, and cellos from scratch. We only use 2 power tools. And that's it. Everything else is all by hand, totally. So it's a slow-moving process.
Each instrument takes between 300 and 400 hours. Probably the same amount of time.
And this is kind of cool.
It would take to see everything in here.
It's called a melody stick. This was actually made in Germany. Probably early 20th century.
There's a bow that was made around 1790.
This wood is Pernambuco wood, which is a wood from Brazil.
A homemade violin case.
You can see it's got the square nails in it.
And a gallery of St. Louis violin makers.
We're kind of string instrument nuts in here.
All of which makes this more than a store or workshop. It's a bit of a hidden treasure where they don't fiddle around. It is an historic landmark, a place that was once the world's largest and busiest train station. But these days,
Up.
it's where people are taking flight.
Wow. It's the most amazing feeling.
Jessica Hintoff has been teaching Circus Arts in St. Louis for 25 years. Actually, she started teaching this guy when he was only 10 or 11.
And one of the great things about circus is there's always something new to learn.
He ran off and went to college, but he's back and more wrapped up in flying trapeze than ever.
It's really a unique experience, and you have to try it for yourself to really understand it.
He's not at Union Station to perform, although he's pretty amazing to watch. Matt Viverito is here to teach.
All right, so if you can put your hands up over your head for me.
Anyone who wants to defy gravity.
This is a one-way ladder, so once you go up, the only way down is to swing down, okay?
You got it.
Of course, it's easy to be brave on the ground. The view from the platform, 25 feet up,
It's as fun as it looks, I promise.
well, that gets your heart beating a bit faster.
Ready?
You can teach a basic trick like a knee hang. We can teach you how to swing.
Grace is obviously not taught, but even without it, the experience is amazing.
It's exciting. I mean, that's why we're here, is we want to share the joy and the fun and excitement of trapeze with everyone in St. Louis.
Well, he wants to know what's being done to the Eads Bridge, so let me show you what I found out.
It is an engineering masterpiece, the oldest bridge still in use over the mighty Mississippi River.
Yeah, it's doing great for 140 years. I mean, a lot of bridges don't make it to 50 years.
It was the brainchild of James Buchanan Eads, a talented engineer, but one who had never designed a bridge.
And at the time, the cost was astronomical, and there were many, many people who were against it. There were people who, once it was being built, were afraid it was going to fall into the Mississippi River.
It has stood the test of time.
Entering the Eads Bridge work zone for routine inspection.
And is a National Historic Landmark in need of a facelift.
Who's up? Life vest.
But that's not an easy endeavor. It is a custom bridge.
There are literally no 2 pieces of metal on the bridge that are identical. It's
A structure that is being stripped down.
This is all lead-based coating, lead-based paint, so that when we remove it, we have to completely contain the section that we're blasting in, capture all of the waste.
And repainted.
It's called a complete rehabilitation.
The tracks, the superstructure, refurbishing. If we see structure that is showing signs of wear and tear or has cracked, we're replacing that.
It's a project at the halfway point, 700 and something days in.
Just very recently, we now have switched sides of the bridge.
Work on the westbound tracks is complete. And work on the eastbound tracks has begun.
We've installed the new overhead conductor rail, which replaces what you more commonly see on the system. To my knowledge, this system's only used in one other city in America. It's widely used in Europe, though.
The Eads Bridge is a beautiful structure that defied the masses. But most importantly, it is an important connection between Missouri and Illinois.
By doing what we're doing as part of this project, this will give this bridge another 50 years of life.
People like to work out here. It's a big workout lake.
With a 320-acre lake, people tend to flock here.
They come and they jog early in the morning. They run the trail because it's a 3.7-mile round trail all the way around the lake.
Cheryl Beckman is talking about Creech Lake.
It was a expo of the Missouri River, and then when they channeled that Missouri River, they cut it off, and it's just a natural lake now. It's the biggest natural lake in Missouri.
Cheryl has spent almost every day in the summer for the last 7 years here.
And we're at the rental where we rent out canoes, double kayaks, single kayak, stand-up paddle boards, bicycles, anything you'd like. We have the quadricycle bikes that have 2-person pedal, 4-person pedal.
The hottest and newest thing going on the water is paddleboarding.
The paddle boards are a really big hit this year. I mean, it's a new fad. Everybody wants to do it, especially on calm days. Even when it's rough like this, they still want to go out, but it's a really good core workout. You just put your paddle up front like this. You can either kneel or sit on it. You want to keep your arms straight so that you're paddling into the waves.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
So
yeah.
Did you get a workout?
Yeah, it was like a working out session.
You can bring your own canoes or kayaks or paddle boards. But for only $10 an hour, Cheryl will rent you affordable fun.
We try and fit the person with the right equipment. So if you're a larger person, we try and put you into the right kayak or the right canoe.
And one of the newest additions to this lake,
They have a new water trail where they go to different parts of the lake and they give you a history of the lake. We do actually have stories where the Asian carp, they came in with the flood. So the Asian carp are in here and they jump in your boat sometime, but it's a good story to tell. Weekends are pretty busy. The best time is usually early morning or around 5 when everybody's out to dinner.
so if you find yourself up a creek without a paddle, check out Creech Rental.
Basic instruction with every piece of equipment we rent out, so if you've never done it before, it's a good opportunity for you to get out there and try something new.
In a small shop just off Manchester, a couple is shining a light on an age-old process.
We met Daryl Whitehead, and he was impressed with what we were doing and our work and our desire to make them, and was willing to show us how to make really fine rods.
Daryl Whitehead was a master at building fly rods, but it was Gabe's love for fishing that started this journey.
My uncle took me fishing in a canoe in New York State for smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
I was hooked the first time.
And along the way, he met and hooked Amelia.
I was fascinated with the process, and that there are so many intricate steps, and I really knew that it was something I wanted to try making myself. Well, we start from, from combs of bamboo. It comes from the Guangdong province of China.
Time?
It takes anywhere from 50 to 60 hours.
Labor.
It cuts along its own natural fibers. So it wants to split that way. It's very strong the other way, though.
The process is meticulous.
Daryl Whitehead, our teacher, said she's the world's best rod wrapper. It's something you can't measure. You can measure down to the 10,000ths of an inch and try to figure what she does with her eyes and with her hands scientifically, and there's no formula for it.
The couple admits there were some snags along the way.
Do you look back at some of the early rods and go, ooh, or...
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to look at them.
Our mentor, Daryl, he told us, keep your early ones around, because someday you're going to look at them and you're going to realize how far you've come.
But today they build the finest fly fishing rods in the world.
We're used to, shipping our rods out, all over the world. We've got in Asia and Europe and here in the United States, and people take our rods fishing, all over the world.
Each rod is a labor of love, and the price tag?
This is a $1,500 fly rod.
Should last over 100 years.
And Turfs and Batson's long-term goal?
It's just been building and building. I can't imagine having more than what we want, because that's one of our goals, is to make work for ourselves.